indulging us. I'm sorry we're starting a little bit late. We're still getting to know one another. And thank you so very much. When call the meeting to order back in session. If you would, please, we'll stand and say the pledge and then have the invocation. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for the invocation, please. Thank you. Dear Lord in heaven, we thank you so much for the opportunity to come together, Lord, as we once again participate in, Lord, in the business of the people and our greatest earthly assets, our children. We thank you, Lord, for this opportunity. We pray, Lord, that you'll give us discernment and guidance and lead us. Help us, Lord, to continue to do this business in a thoughtful, caring, safe way. We'll give you praise, honor, and glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Be seated. Need a motion to approve the board agenda that you have in front of you.
I'll make a motion.
Is it Mr. Wagner makes a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Blevins. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion approved. Approval of the open session minutes from last month. You had that opportunity to look at that. Need a motion to approve those minutes. So moved by Mr. Blackburn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Klein Hexkel. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very, very much. Good news. We love good news. Ms. Burton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Cox, members of the board, Mr. Johnson, and guests. This afternoon, I have the privilege of recognizing Mrs. Jalen Wallace, Elkin City Schools Employee of the Month. Ms. Wallace is the media coordinator for Elkin High School and Elkin Middle School. Ms. Wallace is doing an amazing job co-teaching and facilitating projects in the Media Center and Makerspace. Recently, she has co-taught information, including literacy, the research process, and how to cite sources. She's helped students select novels, sent out timely, relevant information to teachers, facilitated the creation of board games and other project-based learning activities through our Makerspace. She keeps our books organized and shelved and is an advocate for new literature in our Media Center. Each day, she is eager to collaborate with students and teachers in whatever capacity she is needed. On top of her Media Center duties and responsibilities, she teaches our AP Literature and AP Lang and Composition classes and is the yearbook advisor. She also makes sure that our Media Center is ready for board meetings each month. Ms. Wallace is working hard to breathe new life into our Media Center. We are so very blessed to have her as a resource for our faculty and staff, and we are grateful for her and all of her work. Congratulations, Ms. Wallace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Wallace, for the great job that you do. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. All right, now on the agenda, we have the public forum. Anyone who would like to come speak? We've had someone sign up. Please come to the podium and just state your name, please, if you'd like to speak. Yes, ma'am, right here. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And you have 3 minutes? Is that, I think that's what we said.
I'm Mary Keller, and
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have 2 children at Elkin City Schools. One's in the middle school, one's now in the high school. They both had really positive experiences, and I just wanted to take this opportunity as we close out Women's History Month to express my appreciation for the women leaders of Elkin City Schools. Superintendent Dr. Cox, high school principal Ms. Burton, middle school principal Dr. Hall, and elementary school principal I believe soon to be Dr. Rycroft, are all quality leaders, compassionate educators. As a mother, I'm very grateful to have their competent and capable personas in charge of Elkin City Schools. I have no qualms about entrusting my children to their care. I also want to highlight Dr. Colbert, the Director of Global Studies and Virtual Learning. I think this is such a creative and innovative thing that Elkin City Schools has done. She, I believe, was instrumental in getting the online learning going when COVID hit and keeping our students engaged and connected to schools. I think most schools across the country didn't come anywhere close to that. Most kids were getting packets mailed home and they never saw their teachers for like a year. So I'm just very grateful for all the women leaders at Elkin City Schools. I believe, also her trip to Europe recently was very cool. I enjoyed seeing all the pictures on Facebook. They, I think, visited 5 countries in 2 weeks. What an incredible global learning, experiential learning experience for those kids. All of these women, I believe, embody the Madam C.J. Walker quote, "Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come, get up and make them." On that note, there was an article that I read on Friday from Education NC, which highlights the significant demographic changes facing North Carolina. Some kind of concerning things about the changes in the world that our kids are going into. And I just encourage you as a board to read that article, consider Dr. Jim Johnson of UNC Chapel Hill's advice in his call for state and community approach to prepare our children for the world that they're going to go into. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keller. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Absolutely. Right. Now we're opening up the forum public hearing. If you have an agenda, we have the budget we need to approve tonight. So is there anyone who would like to speak on the proposed budget that's been online and been available for people to come look at? I got my copy right here. Anyone like to speak on the proposed budget? Anybody online? Where's Britt? Okay. In general or the budget? Okay. Red, don't speak. Oh. We're very grateful to have Ms. Klein-Hex. Great asset to her. We thank the people of the community of electing her.
Ms. Burton, will you please open the makerspace for it? Thank you.
Don't want to belabor, but we want people to give the opportunity. Budget's important. It's your money, it's our money. It's important. All right, everybody's smiling. We'll close the public hearing. I like smiles, especially when it talks about money. All right. I think we're good without a recess. Is that okay, board members? Just continue on. The next action item, we get into that phase of the agenda. Dr. Cox will talk to us about some second readings of policies.
There are 2 policies for your review tonight that are up for adoption. One is policy 7241. The other is 7405. These were presented to you as a first reading in February. They have been out for 30 days. We have not received any comments. So at this time, unless you have specific questions, I would ask for your approval of these 2 amended policies.
Any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Wagner, second by Mr. Blackburn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Ms. Hicks, budget amendments?
Ms. Hicks will be presenting to us virtually this afternoon.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Cox, and Board. Thank you all for allowing me to join you remotely tonight. I'll apologize ahead of time if you were to catch any background noise from my children. We'll jump right in with the budget amendments for this month. I'll let Britt get those pulled up for you. Okay, this month on the budget amendments for state, you'll notice that most of these are transfers only. Again, this is a repeat month by month just to keep us in alignment with our budget resolution. And with the state amendments, Britt, if you will scroll down towards the bottom of that first page. There are two amendments within the state that are not transfers. One of them is, keep going just a little further. Okay, there's the first one, and it is PRC 001. We do have a reversion of $17,371. This is due to our NCVPS allotments and our sure up with the state, and PRC 001 is our classroom teacher allotment, and it is a position allotment and not a dollar allotment. The next state amendment that we have below that, Britt, on page 2. This is a reflection of driver's ed. They provided additional funding to school districts for fuel reserve. They noticed the increase in fuel over the past year and had a formula that they used for each district and allotted additional funds. So that $913 is an increase to our driver's ed contracted services. Then we go into the federal budget amendments. Federal budget amendments, all of these are strictly carryovers and additional allotments to our federal grants. So all of those are increases there. And then we get to, should be local or special. Then we have special here. All of the special revenue amendments are reflective of additional revenues that we have received this year that were not originally budgeted for. So again, a positive for us to increase our revenues and able to cover expenditures that we have had in certain areas. Britt, if you'll just keep scrolling. Then we have one local amendment this month. This is the same situation as the special revenue above. It is additional revenues that we have received this year that we had not originally anticipated. So this is reflecting that, and it's being added to our JROTC salary for that local fund. And that's all of the budget amendments this month. Any questions?
Any questions? Ms. Hicks? All right, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the amendments?
I'll make that motion.
Blevins makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Ms. Kleinert. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you, Ms. Hicks. County school funding request.
Okay, the county funding request has been available for public review, and it has also been available to the board members this month. And I'm not going to go through the entire presentation because it has been available. So I simply am just going to highlight a couple of items for the board. Within the budget presentation provided, this is reflective of a 5% salary increase anticipated. Of course, Governor Cooper has released some information saying it's going to be a more significant amount, but that could be spread out over 2 to 3 years. And so we don't have any final numbers at this time. And so speaking with our entire Region 7, we all are using fairly different numbers and Last year, we did have a 4% increase, so I chose to go with 5% this year to start with. And then also an increase of up to 27%, 2.5% added to the 24.5 to be 27% retirement matching. Hospitalization we're looking at least $7,500 per employee per year in matching. Those are some of the main increase items that were input within the budget. And then this presentation also includes our total capital request and all of our county requests, which is the main objective in gathering this information. So the total capital request that we are approaching Surrey County Commissioners for is $407,000. And this covers several different projects ranging from a new walk-in at the elementary school to windows at the band hall at the high school, which are currently single pane, and there are photos included. We also have instructional technology, which is included each year. We have some auditorium repairs that are necessary. And I think Britt's trying to get down to those pictures there. So we've included all of those items in our special capital request and included the photos because these speak loudly in the need for funding. Our per pupil current expense for capital, we are requesting $150 per student. Regular expense from Surrey County, we are going to request $1,425 per student. And our total budget summary on this page shows all of our funds. And this is a complete estimate because when this was gathered, there were no planning allotments from DPI at the time. So this, of course, will be updated once their planning allotments are final, and then once the state has finalized the budget for this year. So as you can see, we're at over $18 million as we stand. Are there any specific questions, comments that any of you have about this budget presentation?
Any questions for Ms. Hicks? Hearing any questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion, we approve the budget as presented.
Wagner with a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Second from Ms. Klein Exkel. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion's carried. Thank you, Ms. Hicks.
Thank you.
Dr. Cox, overnight field requests.
I am so super excited to announce to you that we have 3 young ladies who have won the FCCLA state competition and are on their way to nationals. And they are wanting to go to Colorado June 30th through July 7th. And we've received their field trip request information because they will need to go ahead and register and start any type of fundraising that they may choose to do to fund the expenses. So what is the board's pleasure on allowing this group of ladies they will be traveling with their club advisor, Miss Robin Hooper.
Is there a motion to approve the field trip? So moved by Mr. Blackburn. Is there a second?
And I give a very hearty second to that. That's great. I think.
Wonderful thing. Congratulations. I wish Miss Hooper was here, but congratulations to Miss Hooper and all the kids. All in favor say aye. Aye.
May we ask Miss Burton to share the names of the 3 students? Do you remember? I'm sorry to put you on the spot. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. We are proud of those students. I'm sure their family and it. Super's done a great job for a number of years. All right. Next on our agenda is Ms. White, proposed school calendar.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board, Dr. Cox, Mr. Johnson, and guests. It's my privilege to give you the results of the calendar survey that was posted on the Elkin City Schools website. It began on February the 28th, and it was taken down on March 24th. But first, I would like to give you a refresher course on the proposed school calendars. So Britt, if you will bring up the first calendar, it should be the early start calendar. If you will notice, 10-month employees would return to school on August the 9th. Students would return on August 16th. Exams would be given prior to the Christmas break. Second semester would end on December 20th. Second semester would begin. First semester would end December 20th. Second semester would begin on January 3rd. Last student day would be May 31st, and last day of 10-month employees is June 4th. So that is the early start calendar. Any questions regarding that calendar at this time? Okay, so we will move to the next calendar. It is the traditional start calendar. 10-month employees would return August 16th. Students would return August 28th. Exams would not be given prior to the Christmas break. The first semester would end on January the 12th. Second semester would begin January 17th. The last student day would be June 5th, and the last day for 10-month employees would be June the 11th. Any questions regarding that calendar? Okay. Britt, if you will go forward one slide, there you go. So there were 63 responses at the time the form was closed. And the percentages are the overall themes listed in the comments. So first off, we have the traditional calendar. And it was, I can't see the percentage of that.
It's 18.
18, it looks like.
It's 18%. So then the early start calendar, it received 44% in favor. The remaining themes were mentioned as support for the early start calendar. Exams before Christmas was mentioned with 25%. Alignment with the Surrey Community College calendar was mentioned in 5% of the comments. There were some comments requesting that spring break align with Easter once again and the possibility of extending the school day. There was one question that was asked a couple of times, and that was, how could an early start calendar be approved based on current legislation? There was a suggestion about spreading out optional teacher workdays. But due to the fact that Elkin City Schools follows instructional hours in lieu of days, most of the work days must occur at the beginning or at the end of the school year. A suggestion was made to place a teacher workday at the end of each grading period. In this calendar, there are one or more teacher work days at the end of the grading period. And typically that is to work on, the required work day would be to for those that need to work on grades or have parent meetings. And then the PD days, they are scattered out throughout the year, primarily with letters training for those that will be involved in that. And we try to avoid early dismissals throughout the year due to various conflicts in schedules. So there are only 2 early dismissals in the year. And that is the day that we dismiss for Christmas break and then the last day of school for the year. You have any questions regarding those comments?
Any questions?
Just to be, you did say the early calendar aligned with Surrey community
It does. Well,
break
the spring break,
on the spring break. Yeah.
both calendars.
Both calendars do. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I will tell you that based on the 2022, 2023 school calendars, there were 5 in North Carolina that did the early start. And those were Surrey County Schools, Iredell Statesville Schools, Gaston, Cleveland, and Rutherford counties.
There's at least 30 schools, I think, that are doing that then right now.
You're saying there's 30 school systems right now that start early?
5.
5.
Well, there's 5 but there's multiple schools within.
Correct.
So it's like,
Systems, 5 systems.
Systems.
so, yeah.
Out of 115?
Weather waivers.
And those 5 systems, how long have they been doing that without the waiver? Do we know? Surrey County's second year, third year, maybe? This is their second year. We probably don't know about the other school systems.
Have there been any repercussions that you know of?
None that I have been made aware of, and I have asked multiple districts, and at this time, they have not.
That shortened the summer for the students by 3 weeks or something?
It would
The
this
early
year.
start.
The early start would shorten it. Don't know when we get out this year. June 7th.
We get out June 7th this year.
And the teacher would come back then.
August 9th.
You know of any potential repercussions, Mr. Johnson, or have you heard or been?
I know in doing my own personal survey with teachers and parents, just asking them what they prefer. I've only had one that, and this has been several that have asked, only had one that preferred the late start. Everyone that I've talked with just around the community, teachers and parents alike, have said they really want the exams before Christmas. They really like the early start, and exams were a big reason.
But I think if you ask the vast majority of the students, they would want them exams before Christmas. That's, I see heads going up like this.
There were student comments, and that
I would
was
imagine.
what they would state. They would rather have their exams before the Christmas break.
And that would be in accord with the traditional.
It would be the early start.
The traditional start is the one that the states were asking us to do now.
Correct. We do not have.
That's the one we
weather
do
waiver.
right now. Any more questions? Any more discussion? It's kind of quiet. Y'all making me nervous. Do we need to stand up and do something?
I mean,
Is there?
I'm fine with moving forward with the new one. I mean, I think that would
Is
be,
there a motion?
I will make a motion to go with the new, not the traditional one, but the new one, the early start.
I second that.
Okay, any discussion about that?
And that is what we have done for the past 3 years.
No,
We've
this
done.
is
No.
right.
Well, yes,
Traditional.
the traditional is what we've been doing.
Well, I didn't know if you needed more comments or not, but well, Mrs. Burton has reminded me that on the traditional calendar that we have that the board has adopted the past several years, it's put exams after Christmas. But for those students, remember the high number of students I told you in closed session were taking college courses, 80+ students. Those students are taking, their college courses end before Christmas, but yet their high school courses are still in first semester when they return after Christmas. So there is a big disconnect for a pretty large number of our students. And that is why the early start calendar is so much more favorable across the state. I think any number of superintendents would line up to say, we need an early start calendar simply to align completely with the community colleges calendar.
I agree. And even if there was a college, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to be bringing
To hold.
back and then.
To hold those exams till mid-January. You also run the risk in January, and it's happened to us before that there's snow in January, which further postpones the first semester exams.
There is the same amount of days that the students are away from school within the plan, first and second month. Is that correct?
Do you mean for summer?
Mean summer?
Or do
mean
you
winter
mean-
break?
In total within the school year?
Yes.
Does seem like there's a little bit of a difference, but
The
forget why.
early start calendar,
Britt, pull that,
We go by
the-
hours
the
now,
calendar back up because there is a nice legend.
days.
There's a nice legend in the middle of the early start calendar that can enlarge, and it will answer your question in comparison to traditional.
there's 1,056.
Can you enlarge that, Britt? Can you enlarge it? Oh, I'm sorry. It's in a PowerPoint. I'm sorry. There you go. Yeah. All right. Scroll up or down. I'm sorry, down. End of 9-week grading period. $1,056 hours in the early start calendar, 177 days. And then what about for the traditional?
74 days, 1,044, so.
Yeah.
15.
1,044 hours.
Yes.
Yes.
And we are required to have 1,026. So we are over our requirement in both situations.
Any other questions? About 15-hour difference.
Would that allow for a snow day then or anything? I mean, if,
I think they both do. I think that's
Do
why
they?
she's over on both of them.
Yes, it does.
It'll snow no matter what calendar you got. Just saying.
Unless you're in the 22-23 school year.
yeah, I was gonna say
And we got
for this
0.
year.
Hey, I have faith in the ground.
I may be the only
Snow in April.
superintendent that likes snow.
It can snow in April, all right? Right. All right, any other questions for Allison or anyone with an answer? Dr. Cox, maybe? We've got a motion on the floor to approve the early start calendar by Ms. Klein Hexel, seconded by Mr. Wagner. Hearing no more discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. White. We have, look at your agenda, we have the personnel report that we talked about tonight. Need a motion to approve that personnel report that we discussed.
I make that motion.
Blevins with a motion to approve the personnel report. Second by Mr. Blackburn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, hearing none, motion carries. All right. Announcements. Wednesday, that's 2 days from today. Wednesday, March 29th, the Elkin High School Junior ROTC Blood Drive. Please call and schedule an appointment. That's always a need in our community. Friday, March 31st, that's this Friday, the All County Chorus at Dixon Auditorium, admission $7. That will be a beautiful event. I hope that you can come. Next Monday, April 3rd, the Elkin High School Spring Beta Induction Ceremony at Dixon at 6 p.m. And also Monday, April 3rd, special note, the Surrey County Board of County Commissioners will be meeting here in this room at 6 p.m. So feel free to come out and support and shake hands or speak to the county commissioners. We're honored to have them come. Friday, April 7th will be Good Friday, holiday, no school. Monday, April 10th will be the Easter annual leave day, no school as well. And then Friday, April 14th, Elkin High School National Honor Society induction ceremony in the Dixon Auditorium, 7:45 a.m. And then the regular scheduled board meeting may not be April 24th, so we'll let you know about that one. We're considering moving that one, but we will certainly give plenty of notice on that. Anything else for the good of the board tonight before we go back into closed session? Have something I want to read? Dear Board of Education, wow, man, my voice carries. Whew. My wife does say that, so. Dear Board of Education Chairman, Dr. Richard Bruniger, Vice Chairman, Mr. Larry Wagner, Board of Education members. Please accept this letter as official notice of my retirement effective June 30th, 2023. For the past 6.5 years, it has been my pleasure to be the superintendent of one of the best school districts in the state. I have enjoyed all positions I have held during my 30 years in education, but the opportunity to serve in the Elkin City Schools ranks at the top of my list. Retirement will be the next step for me in this life's journey, but my husband Denny and I will remain in Elkin. I look forward to knowing of the continued success of the school district and the people that I love. Sincerely, Dr. Myra S. Cox.
Thank you so much. Thank you, really. That's kind. I'm at a loss for words at the moment. I look out and I see some broken-hearted faces, which tells me that we've grown together on this team and that we have established such a dynamic working relationship. I guess I would certainly be at less of a loss for words if you were out there smiling and cheering that I was leaving. But please know in my letter, when Dr. Brinegar read that, I will continue to look at the success of Elkin City Schools and continue to look on the success of the people that I love. I truly mean it, because I love Elkin City Schools and I love our staff, our faculty, our students, and the wonderful community that supports this district. Thank you all so much for what you've given me.
Thank you. Thank you. We have some unfinished business in closed session we want to discuss, so I need a motion to adjourn closed session per general statute. Is there a second?
I second.
Second, Ms. Bonhester, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm sure Dr. Cox will be here. Congratulate her. And we wish her best. We love Dr. Cox and Benny and